Hello, welcome to West Ham Grumble on Irons United with me, Alf Gasparo. Yes, so the morning after the night before, a bit of a dreary start to the day, and yes, I've got a bit of post-Chelsea blues. What can we say about the game? Yeah, look, we went there and they done us over quite convincingly. Hazard was on top form, but all in all, you could say that the way they just kept on coming at us, wave after wave of attack, the way they just played it out of their defence and just got it up the field really quickly, you know, put a killer passing, and their passing overall was just fantastic going forward. And they had a couple more chances in the first half. We were probably lucky to go down 1-0 to that fantastic goal by Hazard. 1-0 down at the break. In the second half, they had about 3 or 4 chances, which really they should have scored, let's face it. And then Hazard popped up right at the end with, a clinical finish after, a great pass by Barkley, I've got to say, over the top for him. So, look, they played well. It's Chelsea at home. And I thought from our point of view, first half, we kind of defended well, actually. It was kind of, back against the wall sometimes. Last-ditch defending. I thought Balbuena had a good game. Even Arnautovic was tracking back on the right-hand side, So, we were defending as best we could against a kind of, a team that really were up for it last night, and we couldn't match them. We were trying to contain them, but we weren't really matching them. Certainly going forward, we weren't. Our passing was really awful. Anywhere going past the halfway line, it was just really bad. And we were sort of bereft of ideas, really. We were trying to contain them. We were putting in the tackles, and then we'd lose possession straight away, and that just led to another attack, by Chelsea. Anytime we went into their final third, we lost the ball really easily, and they were just really, it's almost like they were a counter-attacking side last night, just waiting for us to try and go into their half, and then they just hit us on the break. Kante was brilliant. Rice, whilst he had a decent game, he was struggling to match Kante and also Loftus-Cheek, who kind of out-muscled him, really, and who had a good game for them, I thought. Anderson, for us, he had little moments where he did some good stuff, but otherwise it wasn't, it wasn't great. Certainly, if you're talking about world-class players, he's just nowhere near that kind of level. Lanzini was quiet again, ineffective. I think we're just hoping too much for Lanzini. We're pinning our hopes on him that he would have come back. He'd be brilliant, but it's just not. I'm not saying it's not working out for him, but it's just too weak for him. And Arnautovic, I thought, first half, whilst he gets a lot of criticism from me, he was isolated, as was Chicharito in the first half. Second half, Chicharito went off, changed it up a little bit. The man, Snodgrass, came on, and he was the impact player. He was the impact sub that brought us a lot of energy going into the final third and was putting a lot of pressure on their back line. And that was a difference there. Snodgrass was actually trying to put a lot of pressure on the last line of defence, or actually going onto the keeper, whereas Anderson was kind of jogging to put pressure on them. So, it was a big difference in how the players were approaching the second half. Say Chicharito went off, and Arnautovic went up to lead the line, and he had a lot more success. It always comes back to how we're feeding the front players, in the final third, how we're playing. We had a lot better second half, but that doesn't say that we're any better than Chelsea, because they still came at us, wave after wave, still that same kind of attacking style. Hazard was on fire, and that's the problem. We have success against the top 6 teams, let's say, when we're kind of resolute, backs against the wall, and, dare I say it, they have an off day as well. When we played Chelsea last season, especially, Hazard really had a bad game. Chelsea were having a bad game. That's why, we could get a result against them. This season, well, last night, it wasn't the case. Look, we have a problem. We have a problem in our expectation, in what we believe where we should be. And we believe we should be a lot higher. We're all hoping that we at least aim for the 7th. There was a an interview with Mark Noble before the game, and he was saying we were hoping for 7th. Looks like they resigned to the fact that they're just going to hope for a top 10 finish. I think they'd be lucky to get that right now. We've got Man United away, we've got Leicester at home, then Spurs away, then Southampton home, then Watford away. So it's, look, these are games that we might be able to pick up a point here, but the chances are we're not going to pick up many points at all. The way Leicester are playing, I think we're going to struggle against them. The way Watford are playing, I think we'll struggle. And the way Southampton have had a little bit of a bounce back as well, I think we might even struggle with them. The way we're playing is this, that we have little spells that we play half decent football and we create chances, but we're just nowhere near consistent enough. We're nowhere near at the level that we need to be to even challenge or make consistent challenges, in a game. We can blame individual players all you like. You can blame the Arnautovic's, the Chicharitos, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that we're just not consistent enough as a team. The way we're passing the ball, it's aimless passing a lot of the time into the final third. It's look at my videos all year, and I keep on saying the same thing. It's that final third, the final third ball, and how we're cutting up defences, or we're not cutting up defences. That's probably the best thing to say. So, Arnautovic had a better second half, knocked back one. Lanzini, not a great shot. Creswell, unfortunately, he got done 2 or 3 times in the second half, but he had a great shot, and it all just fizzed past the far post. Arnautovic had a header that was deflected wide as well. That could have easily gone in. So we had our chances. I'm not saying we didn't. And there was a lot more effort compared to, the Everton game. There was definitely a marked improvement in the second half. The first half, I thought we were just struggling to contain. A kind of on-form Chelsea, I should say. Look, where do we go from here? We've got to look, is this a transition season? We want it to be a lot better. We were hoping for 7th. We were hoping for a lot better football, a lot more consistent football. It just hasn't happened. We had 2 early cup exits, which are pretty woeful, really. We've had the whole saga with Arnautovic, the upset. It's created a big upset. And I'm just kind of looking at the stats for the last couple of seasons. So let's go back to, the last season at Upton Park, 15-16. We finished 7th, 62 points, and a plus 14 goal difference, which is actually not a bad return. But let's not forget that latter part of that season wasn't brilliant either. So the first season at London Stadium, we finished 11th, 45 points with a minus 17 goal difference. Last season, finished 13th, 42 points and minus 20 goal difference, okay? Here's this season, right now. Considering we've got the games remaining, and we're unlikely to get many points out of that. We're in 11th position, 42 points, minus 19. So, whilst Pellegrini I thought was a right appointment, whilst I think we've made some signings, for the most part, it hasn't really worked. And it hasn't been a marked improvement on the last 2 seasons, for a start. It certainly is, we're still way below where we were the last season at the Upton Park under Bilic. We have players that can perform but just are not performing. We've had upset in the ranks. If we're looking at Pellegrini as our next manager for the next 3 or 4 seasons, he's got to, and also the club as the board as well, have got to look at which players we have, which players we want to have in the squad that are going to give us consistency and to give us a certain level of performance that we need it week in, week out. And let's face it, most of our players are just not giving it to us this season. We've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of players that come back for injury that are slow to regain their form, let's say. we've got to look at next season and look and say, well, we've got to learn the lessons from this season. You know, you got to write off the last 2 seasons. It's this season where it's been telling, where we've made a big investment, but actually, overall, the stats just don't tell us that we're doing anything a lot better. It's really frustrating. It's frustrating to be a West Ham fan because, you know, you can see in certain games where we are markedly improved over the last 2 seasons under Pellegrini. Then we have other games where we're just right back to where we were. In fact, we're probably worse than what we were before. So, you know, this is, you know, I wanted to come on and do a more of a positive video, but I can't because, you know, it is a bit disappointing last night. I didn't expect us to win. I didn't expect us to get a great result. And, you know, if I would say hand on heart, I wasn't expecting us to go out and, you know, give us that blood and guts kind of performance. But I thought we could have, you know, handled them a little bit better. I thought we could have offered something a little bit more going forward. I thought our passing could have been better. I thought we could have had a better idea. You know, we're still playing as individuals. You know, the ball, you know, somebody gets the ball and there's nobody offering themselves. You know, nobody moving into space. You know, running and overlapping runs. You know, that kind of thing. Going forward, it's almost like, okay, we'll try and pump it up, pass a halfway line, see what happens, you know, but we're not playing as a team. And that's the thing. We've got all these new signings. We've had a whole season, I should say, but we're not playing as a team. So what does that say? What does that say about Pellegrini? What does that say about the individuals and as a team? You know, Mark Noble's kind of basically said, look, we haven't been playing well for the last few games. We're hoping to get a better performance, but, you know, we're lacking. We're lacking in that, you know, in the final third, and we're lacking, you know, in our team performances. But, you know, a lot of people say they're already on their holidays. Possibly. I think they're just resigned to the fact that there's not a lot they can do now. They need to do better. They need to do a lot better for next season. And we've got to see what happens in the summertime. You know, for summer transfers, who's going, who's leaving. But there's a lot of work. You know, if you think this is a marked improvement from where we were, sorry, you're very much mistaken, because we're not. You know, regardless of what the board have done, regardless of, you know, whether an out of it should have stayed, whether the manager was, you know, went against his wishes and all that kind of stuff. The fact is, as a team, as individuals, we're just not good enough to match week in, week out. That's it. There's your West Ham indictment for you. Right, anyway, Man United next, away. Woohoo! Right, but I'll tell you what I will be at the FA Cup semi-final for the ladies next Sunday. For my first ladies match, so I'm going to say, you know, good luck to the girls, or to the ladies I should say, and we'll be cheering you on, but I fear I'll probably be one of the only few people there. But leave comments below, let us know what you think about current West Ham system. Let me know if you're going to the West Ham ladies game, semi-final, FA Cup semi-final, and I might see you there. Right. And subscribe to Irons United and leave loads of comments, like and share and all that kind of stuff. See you then. Ta-da.